WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh. Today we'll be covering the 10th Pauri of Sri Japji Sahib. And last week with Bhai Rohanveer Singh, we went through the 9th Pauri. So just recapping that and what we learnt last week. So we learned about the qualities of Shivji, Burma and Indra. So how Guru Sahib Ji, they can destroy our avgun, our bad qualities, how they can create gun, new qualities, and they can give us the quality also of Indra, and which is allowing us to merge with the King of Kings, with Guru Sahib Ji and WhyGuru Ji. We also learn of those that have turned into saints from sinners. So we looked at the Sakhi of Balmik, that what Bhai Rohanveer Singh went through last week, and how he was robbing people and actually turned into a saint and was liberated. We also learned how we can obtain self-realization and knowledge of different scriptures, such as the Shastra, the Simrat and the Veds, through listening. And finally, Nanak Bhagata Sadavega Sunaya Dukh Pap Ka Nas, that through listening, devotees are able to eradicate any pain, any sin that they may have. So just before we start the Pauri and go through the arth, the meanings of each line, just a sakhi here, just to go through and show again the power and the greatness of just listening. So we've looked at how sinners have become saints, but I feel like this sakhi really stands out because through listening, the third Guru became our third Guru and obtained the Guruship. So Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj were known as Baba Amar Das Ji before they got the Gurta Gadi, before they became the Guru. And Baba Amar Das Ji, they had become quite old, they were of some age, and they decided that, they were going to go on this spiritual pilgrimage because they wanted to find their true Guru. They were still in this sort of search of their Guru. And when they were on this search, they came across a brahmachari sadhu, so a celibate monk, and they became quite close and they had discussions. And the sadhu asked Baba Amar Das Ji that who is your Guru and what is your mantra? And Baba Amar Das Ji said that I have not yet embraced a Guru, despite my efforts to try and find the true Guru. I've not yet found that, and I don't have a mantra. And the sadhu was disappointed, he was disgusted, he was horrified that he had done sangat or been close with Baba Amar Das Ji. He said to Baba Amar Das Ji that any meditation that you've done, any fasting, any pilgrimages you've completed, it's all been wasted because you are a nigura, so someone that hasn't embraced a Guru, that you haven't got a Guru. And the sadhu went on to say that actually any good deeds or any spiritual deeds that I've done, they have also been destroyed and wasted because I've been in contact with you. So he left Baba Amar Das Ji, and Baba Amar Das Ji returned home from the pilgrimage, and they were very upset. They were very, very upset, crying, very sad. And one night they were crying through the night. They weren't able to sleep, and they did an ardas to WhyGuru Ji that please help me find my Guru. Please lead me to this true Guru. And Baba Amar Das Ji then heard the recitation of Gurbani. And as you know, all of us have been to India. In villages, because of the way the buildings are, you can literally hear what's happening next door. And a lot of the time, your neighbors are normally your family members. So Bibi Amaro Ji is was the daughter of Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second Guru. And she was married into Baba Amar Das Ji's family. So Baba Amar Das Ji essentially were Bibi Amaro Ji's Daya Ji. Bibi Amaro Ji, who were married to Bhai Jasso Ji, who were the son of Bhai Manik Chand, the younger brother of Baba Amar Das Ji. So Bibi Amaro Ji, she was churning yogurt early in the morning, and she was reciting Gurbani. And Baba Amar Das Ji heard this and sort of followed the sound, and it led them to Bibi Amaro Ji. And they said to Bibi Amaro Ji that what is this that you're reciting? Please recite it again. And Bibi Amroji explained that I'm reciting this Bani, and this Gurbani are the words of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And my father, the second Guru, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, they listened to this Gurbani from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and then they used to recite it. So I've learnt this and I've listened to this from them. And from the Shabad, it was one line, Paya Manur Kanchan Phir Hove, Je Gur Mile Taneha. So this line that Bibi Amroji were reciting, it talks about the process of purifying gold. And when you do this process, when you purify it, you have this manur, right? So you have this waste product, this impurity. And what Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is saying here, that even that waste product can still turn into gold. Je Guru Mile Taneha, that if you meet the true Guru, if you're able to meet the true Guru. And how we can relate this and how this really struck Baba Amar Das Ji is they felt like that manur, they felt like that waste product, they felt like that impurity because they couldn't find this true Guru, right? But they heard this and they said to Bibi Amroji, after hearing this Gurbani, hearing the greatness of Gurbani, hearing the greatness of the Guru, they said to Bibi Amroji, please take me to the Guru. And Bibi Amroji took Baba Amar Das Ji to Guru Angad Dev Ji, and Baba Amar Das Ji fell into Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's charan, into their feet, and they said that I'm not here as your Ristadar today, I'm not here as your daughter's Dayaji, I'm here as your Sikh, and I want to be your Gursikh. And from then on, they went on to be our third Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. So this just shows the power, the greatness of listening, because first, Bibi Amroji listened. She listened when Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj were reciting the Gurbani. And then from here, Baba Amar Das Ji, they listened when Bibi Amroji were reciting the Gurbani. And then they went on to get the biggest status that there is of being our third Guru. So, as we've said before, there was question and answers happening between Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and the Siddhs. And in this 10th Pauri, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj tell the Siddhs the different things that you're able to obtain by listening. So the first line, Sunaya Sat Santokh Gyan. So Sunaya, listening, Sat, truth, Santokh, content, Gyan, spiritual knowledge. So through listening, you are able to obtain truth, contentment, and spiritual knowledge. So truth in the way of living the truth, speaking the truth, making sure your actions, your words, what you do aligns with the truth. Then contentment, this feeling of being full with what you have. So what you have is enough, and you feel this sort of contentment. And the last one, spiritual knowledge, which we touched upon in the last session that we did, where the Siddhs tried to bribe Guru Nanak Dev Ji and said that we've got these different jewels and gems and rubies in the Man Sarovar, that why don't you join us? But Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj said that actually the jewel is Gyan, the spiritual knowledge, that's the real jewel, the spiritual jewel that we should all try and obtain. So, Sat and Santokh are two of the 5 virtues, and there's five in total. So can anyone name the other 3? So we've got Sat, which is truth, and Santokh, which is contentment. And there's 3 more, Anji. Daya, yeah, which translates to compassion, yeah. 2 more. Pyar, yeah, which translates to love, yeah. And then 1 more. Nimrata, which translates to humility. Perfect. So these are the 5, yeah? Sat, Santokh, Daya, Pyar, and Nimrata. So looking at these 5 virtues now, there are also the 5 vices. And we'll just do a quick activity to look at how we can relate the 5 virtues to the 5 vices, and how we can actually use them to sort of battle the vices and the issues or the problems we're facing with them. So can anyone name the 5 vices? Calm, yeah, which is Yeah, desires or lust, yep. Yeah. Krodh, yeah, what's krodh? Anger, yeah, perfect. Hanji. Lobh, yeah? Which is lust. Greed? Yeah, so lobh is greed. So that's 3. 2 more. Kam, krodh, lobh. Hankar, which is pride. Yep. Last one. More. You don't know what it means. What does more mean? Attachment. Attachment, yeah. So I've spent a lot of time on these animations. I'm not sure if you'll take anything else, but if you need some help with transitions and animations, you can come to me. So we're just going to see if we can relate these. So off the top of your head, or if anyone can relate any of these, so I can give you an example. I'll show you what I kind of thought of before, but there's no right or wrong answer. If you think any of these can go with any of them, there's no right or wrong answer in this. So I looked at Sat, so the truth, and I linked that to more attachment. Because if you're able to understand truth, that this body is not truly ours, everything we have is not truly ours, our belongings aren't truly ours, and they're not going to go with us into the next life, then we shouldn't really have that attachment, that more. So if we can kind of understand the truth and work to that, then it will help us eliminate this vice of attachment. So Sangaji, can anyone else relate them to any of them? Yep. Perfect. So what Darshan Kaur said, that is, if you've got santokh, if you feel content, then you don't have lobh, yeah? So you're not greedy, and you don't have kam, so you don't have the lust or the desires, because you feel content with what you have. Anyone else? One more? Yes. So you always got Gurmukhi Singh to throw a spanner in the works. So, yeah. So what Gurmukhi Singh said is that if you have the desire to meet WhyGuru, then you have the pyar, yeah. So I could probably battle that and say that we need to be completely desireless. So yeah, that wipes that out a little bit. So anything else? Anyone else? I saw a hand. Yep. Perfect. Well, it might be perfect, but that's what I got as well. So if you've got humility, if you believe that you are the lowest of the low, then you wouldn't have this pride of like me, this is mine, that car is mine, this house is mine, right? And any more? So one more hand. Yeah.
When we lie, we often lie to protect our pride.
Yeah.
So if we live by the truth, then we're owning up to our mistake.
Yeah, perfect. So Bhai Singh said that if you're lying, it's often because to protect your pride. So linking it to pride, and that. But you live by the truth. Then if you know me, if you know like a tiny bit about me, I have really bad memory, like a fish, right? You can ask Sukhdeep Singh, you can tell me something, and 2 milliseconds later I'll forget it. So we were linking their pride to truth. Yeah. One more. Yeah. Yeah. So I got that one as well. So if you've got this daya, and then you won't get angry, because if someone makes a mistake or they do something wrong, then you've got that understanding that actually maybe it's something they couldn't control, maybe it wasn't within their hands, things like that. So you wouldn't get angry. Yep. So this is what I got. Animations there again. So I linked Sat to 2 more, like we spoke about. I linked being content to greedy, same thing that Darshan Kaur said. Daya to anger, what Harmeet said about being compassionate and then not acting out in anger. Then I linked pyar with kam and desires. So with this one, I thought of the fact that often when we think of Kaam, we think of lustful desires. And it's often because of a physical appearance that we have these lustful thoughts. But whereas Pyar is the opposite, where it can't be limited by physical attraction or the way someone looks physically. And then the last one was being humble and then not acting out in pride, which is what Dilip said, I think. Is that right? You just said, yeah, well done. Well done, me. So what I just want to concentrate on is santokh, right? This contentment, this feeling that you have when you feel full with what you have, right? So my question to you, Sangatji, is what is your santokh? So by this question, I just want you to think about something in your life that makes you feel content. Is there something in your life, an activity, an aspect of your life that makes you feel content? Or is there something in your life, an activity, an aspect where you feel like you should be more santokh, you should have more contentment? So I can give you an example. So one example we can just use from today is that how many of us, just to raise your hands, how many of us felt content during the Kirtan when Bhai Singh was doing it? Right? Majority of us felt really, really content during that time. So just an example, or where I used to feel content and still do, it was my local Gurdwara Sahib in Tividal. So whenever I used to go there, I used to feel really, really full, content, happy, joyous. Especially on the weekends when we used to have a Parchar Sahib. So it'd be just 3 days of bliss every single week. And that was an aspect of my life where I felt content. But there was an aspect of my life where I felt like I should have been more sort of conscious and understood that actually what I had was enough. And that was related to my work. So at my local Gurdwara Sahib, we used to have Sukhmani Sahib Jap from Mondays to Thursdays. So that used to be 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And normally I would work, but my 2 days off in the week would be Thursdays and Fridays. So on Thursdays, it would be the one of the aunties said to me that, well, if you've got Thursdays off, then why don't you come and help with the seva and we can do the Sukhmani Sahib Jap together. And I did it for a few months. But obviously with works, they offer you overtime. And I always used to love taking on overtime, right? So I would often take this overtime on the Thursday, I'd take it on the Friday, and I'd knock into the auntie on the weekend during the Khandpad Sahib, and she would say, oh, where were you on Thursday? And I'd say, oh, I said yes to overtime. And there's one thing that she said that really stuck in my head. She said, Kaam santokh na karna chahida hai. So when you work, you should work with santokh. So however much you work, it should be enough. However much money you earn from your work should be enough. So that did really hit home for me. But then I kind of had like another punch in the stomach for the same reason, because I accepted overtime this one time after being told this by the auntie. And I was getting ready at home to leave for work. Normally I'd leave at maybe 9:10. And the Sukhmani Sahib would normally start at 9 o'clock. So it was maybe 5 to 9, and I was still getting ready. And at my mum and dad's house, we have this one room, Maharaji's room. So we have have Gurbani playing in there, we have Bhat playing in there, and we have, scriptures in there. We have Pothi Sahibs in there. And the Gurbani that plays, it's on this speaker, and it's of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj from start to end. And once it's ended, it repeats itself, and it just goes on and on and on. It's just continuous. And it was 9 o'clock, I'm getting ready, and the speaker's normally quite loud in terms of the volume. And at 9 o'clock, Sukhmani Sahib starts playing on the speaker. And I felt like there was a real sort of punch in the stomach from Guru Sahib Ji saying, what are you doing? It's 9 o'clock, you should be at the Gurdwara Sahib. Why are you wasting your time, right? Why are you giving up an hour and a half, 2 hours of Sangat, of reading Gurbani and going to work instead? So it was their reminder by playing Sukhmani Sahib through the speaker at exactly 9 o'clock, right? So that is something in my life where I feel like I should have had more santokh. And I'm a little bit more conscious of that now when it comes to working, that I should be content with however much I have and not to work a 7-day stretch if I can help it. And obviously the first example of feeling content, feeling full, when I used to go to my local Gurdwara Sahib in Tividal. Obviously that got taken away from me when I got married and got kidnapped and brought to London. So, Sangaji, what is your santok? Anyone? I've given you some time to think of something that makes you feel content, or something in your life where you feel like you should have more content. Anyone? Oh God.
WhyGuru ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru ji ki Fateh. So I've got a little story. A couple of weeks ago, my new iPhone got stolen. Yeah, true story. Yeah, Arjun, true story. True story. And I was really ducky for a few days, right? I was like messaging Arjun every now and then. Bro, I've lost so much.
What were you messaging on?
No, my old phone.
Oh, okay.
I still had my old phone. This was a new iPhone. And I was really ducky for a long time. I was thinking, actually, this money that I lost, I could have used it for a holiday. I could have used it for everything that was, everything that was not Gurmat, right? So I was thinking about all these things. And one day we were just doing Kirtan a few days ago, me, Arjun Singh, a few others. And in that moment, my mind just went blank, and I felt at peace. And I thought, actually, the phone that I got, it gave me so much pain because I ended up losing it. I lost all that money as well, and I already had a phone that worked just fine. And so this is my Sikha from this, was that I should have been content with what I already had. And Guru Maharaji took that phone away from me to make me realize that. And when did I realize that? Was when we were doing Simran together, when we were doing Kirtan together. Maharaj says, Dehe Naam Santokhiya, right? Where do you get your Santok from? It's from the Naam. And what happens then? Utare Man Ki Book. All your mind's desires, they all go away. All the hunger of your mind goes. So my lesson was that I should have been content with what I already had because it worked fine. And now I don't think I'm going to get a phone for another few years. So, WhyGuru ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru ji ki Fateh.
I actually had that pankti in my talk, Deho Naam Santokhiya Uttare Man Ki Book, but I knew my talk was going over, and I thought, do I really want to remove it? But obviously I removed it because I had too many slides, and then Ankar Singh went over it, which again I would say is Guru Sahib ji. Anyone else then? Santok, feeling content in anything? Hanji?
Yeah, WhyGuru ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru ji ki Fateh. I think my santok is spending time with family instead of feeling like I need to go outside to find happiness. I think that's something that's just my experience, which I find santok in.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah? Okay, perfect, we'll move on. So the next line, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj say, Suniye 8 sat ka isnan. So Suniye, listening, 8 sat. 8 meaning 8, sat meaning 60, so 68 places of pilgrimage. Ka meaning of, isnan, bathing. That by listening, you can gain the fruits, the fal, the qualities of visiting these 68 places of pilgrimage and bathing in the waters there. And this is a topic that we touched on about 4 weeks ago. So we looked at the Loki and Bhagat Kabir ji saying that actually we need to look at this internal cleansing, not the external cleansing. They got this Loki and they washed it in the waters from those 68 places, and actually it didn't stop being bitter, right? It didn't change its qualities. And in the same way, we need to look at that internal cleansing. And how can we cleanse ourselves internally? That's through Naam, right? We should make Naam our Tirat. Naam should be our pilgrimage. And an example of this is that in the time of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and there was a saint called Jet. And what Jet used to do, he lived in Patna, and he used to go to the Gurdwara Sahib regularly and take part in Sangat and do Amrit Vela. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji went to Patna to see the Sangat there. And when when Guru Sahib Ji arrived, the Sangat started complaining to Guru Sahib Ji, and they started grassing, per se, on this Jet, this saint called Jet. They said that Ganga, the river, is just down the road. But Jet, he doesn't wash in Ganga. He washes in this really small little pond instead. We've told him so many times that you should be washing in Ganga, you shouldn't be washing in this pond, but he's not listening to us. Please can you explain to him that he needs to wash in Ganga? And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj wanted to show the Sangat the greatness of this saint, of Jet. So what they said is that to the Sangat, please stay here through the night, and I just want to show you something in the morning. The Sangat agreed, and then everyone went to sleep. And in the morning, when Amrit Vela started, the Guru Sahib Ji woke the Sangat up, and the Sangat were really surprised and shocked to see a cow. So this cow came out of the river Ganga and walked over to the pond, opened its mouth and spouted out water into that pond. And the Sangat asked the cow, who are you and what are you doing? And the cow replied that I am Ganga, right? I am the river, and I come at Amrit Vela every morning to this pond to bathe a devotee of the Guru, right? So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji say to the Sangat that this is the greatness of Gurbani, and reciting Gurbani and listening to Gurbani, because the fruits that you can obtain from visiting these 68 places of pilgrimage, you can obtain those, and if not more, by listening and reciting Gurbani, right? And reciting WhyGuruji's name. And Guru Sahib Ji said that is far rarer. It's far rarer than, so the reciting of Gurbani and the fall that you get from reciting Gurbani is far rarer than visiting those 68 places of pilgrimage. And this just goes to show that when we recite Gurbani and when we listen, then animals, they serve us. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj say that Lakh Chorasi Hamedani Sab Seva Karanda. The 8.4 million life forms, animals, creatures, species, they all serve us, right? And the fact that the river, the cow, came itself to bathe this saint. And another quick sakhi just to back this up. There was a man that had renounced the world, and he believed Ganga, this is just a photo of Ganga, the river that I'm referring to. He believed that as Ganga as being a goddess, and he really worshipped Ganga. And what he used to do every 6 months, he would visit Ganga, and when visiting on his journey, he would only eat from those that also bathed at Ganga, in this river. So he met with a saint very close to the river, and he ate from their house, stayed with that saint, and during discussion, the man said to the saint, "Well, you're so lucky and you're so blessed that you live so close to Ganga, you live so close to the river that you must have bathed in it so many times. You must have bathed in it numerous times." And the saint replied that, "I've never bathed in Ganga. I don't even know where Ganga is, right? I'm just absorbed in God's name. That's all I concentrate on." And the man, he was just mortified, distraught that this practice and this promise that he had made, that he would only eat from the hands of someone that also bathed in this river, had been broken. And he felt like anything, all the meditation, all the bhakti he'd done, it all been destroyed, and he was cursed. So he immediately left the saint's house. And then when he left, he came across 3 cows. Again, the cows. And the cows were walking in the opposite direction to this man, and he asks the cows, "Who are you? And where are you going?" And the cows reply that we are Ganga, Jamuna and Saraswati. So we are the rivers. And people from all across the world, they come to us and they bathe in us to get rid of their sins, to get rid of their pap. And then this is a huge burden on us. We are really heavy from the sin, from the pap. And in turn, what we do, we go and bathe in the dust of the feet of the saints to relieve ourselves from this burden, from this heaviness that we have. The man follows the 3 cows and sees that the cows go to the saint and they bathe the saint. And from realizing this, he becomes a follower and then obtains liberation. And Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj say, "Ganga, Jamuna, Godavari, Saraswati." जे करहे उद्दम धूर साधु की ताई किल बिख मैल परे परे हमरे विच हमरी मैल साधु की धूर गवाई. That again, that these rivers, you have Ganga, you have Jamuna, you have Godavari, you have Saraswati, that these rivers, everyone goes to them to wash away their sins, and they're getting heavier and heavier and heavier, right? But they're striving, they're attempting, they're trying to find the dust of the saints so they can relieve themselves from this burden as well. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji then say, Sunaya pad pad pavahman. So Sunaya, listening, pad, reading, pavaha, obtain, man. So just through reading and listening, you are able to obtain honor. So if we take, for example, a Granthi Singh or a Gyani Singh from the Gurdwara Sahib, they may not have a PhD, they may not have a university degree, but because they are listening and reciting Gurbani, and they're reciting it so beautifully, we will give them honor, right? They will be respected by mankind. So I just want to do a quick activity, and I just want you to just listen. If I could just ask everyone to just close their eyes and just listen to this just small clip of Gurbani, this audio. So Sukhdeep Singh needs a new laptop. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. But it's a really beautiful clip. What I'll do, I'll send it in the community group for you to just have a listen to. And this group of sangs, I believe it's 3 sangs, they're reading Gurbani, and it's so beautiful. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. So I just wanted you to listen to that and then understand that how can we not give them this honor? How can we not give them this respect when they are listening, reading and reciting Gurbani so beautifully? So then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj go on to say, Sunaya lage sahaj dhyan. Sunaya, listening, lage, gain, sahaj, peace, and dhyan, focus. So essentially, we are able to gain peace and focus, right? And sort of build up our concentration. I think last week it was someone asked a question to Bhai Rohanveer Singh about if we don't understand, or if we haven't got any sort of concentration, we're not focusing on Gurbani, should we still read it? And the answer is yes, right? Because through listening, at one point we will gain the focus, the concentration, the peace. And what we want to aim for is to sort of build the concentration and obtain the concentration that Bhai Gonda Ji had. So in the time of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj, there was a Gursikh called Bhai Gonda Ji. And they were a devotee of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. And Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji sent them from Kirtpur Sahib in Punjab to Kabul to meet the Sangat there, to build a Gurdwara Sahib there, and to also to build a Gurdwara Sahib there and to start Langar. So Bhai Gonda Ji accepted this and they went there, and that's exactly what they did. They built the Gurdwara Sahib, started the Langar. They would sit in the divans that would happen, the prayers that would happen. And one morning what they did is that at Amrit Vela they started reading Sri Japji Sahib, and they mentally grasped Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji's charan, their feet, right? So they put their thoughts with Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji and they mentally grasped their feet. And Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, all the way in Kirtpur Sahib, were sitting in a divan also, and they didn't get up. So divan was happening, prayers were being read, and when it all finished, everyone got up, they left. Sangha started preparing food for Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, but Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji didn't move. They didn't move at all, they didn't speak. The Sangat came to Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji and said that, Maharaj Ji, your langar is made, the food is made for you, please will you eat it? And Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji again, they didn't move, they stayed stationary in the same position. And Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji stayed in this stationary position from Amrit Vela, when Bhai Gonda Ji started their prayers, all the way till 3 p.m. The Sangat returned to Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji and said that, Maharaj Ji, your food has gotten cold. And at this point, Bhai Gonda Ji let go of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji's charan, mentally let go of them. And that's when Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji got up off their throne and said to the Sikhs that, the Sikhs asked them, Maharaji, that you haven't moved since the Van ended. What is the reason for this? And Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji said that my Sikh in Kabul, he was praying, he was reading Gurbani, and he was attached to my charan. And I couldn't break his attention or his concentration by moving. So I didn't get up, I didn't do anything until they finished their prayers. So this just goes to show by listening that you are able to obtain this peace, this dhyan, this concentration that by Gonda you are able to receive. And then the last line, Nanak Bhagta Sada Vigas Sunaya Dukh Paap Ka Nas. So Nanak, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Bhagta, devotees, Sada, remain, Vigas, absorbed. That the devotees of the Guru, of WhyGuru, they remain absorbed. And Vigas can also mean to be in a state of happiness, to be in a state of joy, right? Sunaya dukh paap ka na. So sunaya, listening, dukh, pain, paap, sins, ka, of, nas. And through listening, the devotees, they are able to eradicate and destroy any pains and any sins they might have. So if we just quickly take dukh, and if we take paap from this pankti, right? So if we think of these as logs of wood, so if we take this analogy, so if we think of a log of wood, so this is the first one. So this is, for example, if we take it as a paap, we take it as murdering. So that is a huge paap, right? Then if we take a pain, so maybe we've had an argument or a dispute or a fight with a loved one, that's causing us pain. And then we've got another plank of wood, a log of wood, which is another dukh, let's say lying or cheating. So these woods, they're accumulating, and we have no idea how much pain and how much paap we have accumulated through this cycle of life and death, this 8.4 million life forms, right? So we have no idea how much we have accumulated and how much we have, and obviously in this life we are accumulating even more. And what Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj say that Kor Dukhyang Anakhatyang Janam Daridrang Mahabakhyadang Mitant Sagal Simbarant Haranam Nanak Jaise Pavak Cast Pasman Karot. That these Kor Dukhyang, these really extreme severe pains, Anakhatyang, Anak meaning countless, Hatyang meaning murders, killings, Janam Daridrang Mahabakhyadang, this reincarnation that we're facing, this poverty, the disputes, the misery, the arguments, they can all Mitant Sagal Simrant Haranam Nanak. They can all disappear, they can all be eradicated, destroyed, if Simrant Haranam, that if we meditate and listen to WhyGuruji's name, they'll all be gone, right? All be destroyed. Jaise Pavak Cast Pasman Karot. The same way fire destroys those logs of wood and turns them into ashes, right? So we could have absolutely loads, heaps and heaps and heaps of wood, right? So pieces of wood. So in terms of the paap that we've done and the pain that we have. But Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said, if we meditate and we listen to Gurbani, then we can destroy that paap and that pain. The same way fire destroys wood and turns it into ash. And just something finally that I wanted to just end on is I was listening to Katha of Bhai Jagraj Singh Ji, and what Bhai Sahib said, they gave this really good example that I think really hit home for me. I think one day were going to work, and I think they stopped by at a garage, and at the garage, a woman was there, and she was speaking to the mechanic, the technician, the bodywork technician, and she said to him that, my car's got scratches, damage, you need to fix the paintwork. So how are you going to fix the paintwork? Tell me what you're going to do to it. And the technician said, don't worry about that, that's my secret, right? I'll sort that out. And this can be sort of referred when it comes and taken on when it comes to Gurbani. And Bhai Sahib said that then we come and see Guru Sahib Ji, right? And we say to Guru Sahib Ji, how can we meet WhyGuruji? How can we merge with WhyGuruji? And Guru Sahib Ji say, read and listen to Gurbani. And we think, how's that going to help? How is that going to get us closer to WhyGuruji? And then, well, Guru Sahib Ji say, well, that's my secret. Don't worry, that's my secret, and I'll sort that out, right? So Guru Sahib Ji will work the magic themselves. So if we read Gurbani and we recite and we listen and we truly listen, truly listen, then we will be able to obtain that goal of merging with WhyGuru Ji. And I just wanted to do just a few minutes of just listening. So just doing job of WhyGuru, and then the body that we've been through today, just to listen, to try, just attempt to truly listen and see if we sort of feel how we feel. Could I just ask someone to turn the lights off, please? WhyGuru, WhyGuru, ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸਤ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਗਿਆਨ
ਸਤ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਗਿਆਨ
ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸਤ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਗਿਆਨ
ਸਤ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਗਿਆਨ
ਸੁਣਿਆ 860 ਕਾ ਇਸਨਾਨ 860 ਸੁਣਿਆ 860 ਕਾ ਇਸਨਾਨ
ਸੁਣਿਆ 860 ਕਾ ਇਸਨਾਨ
ਸੁਣਿਆ ਪੜ ਪੜ ਪਾਵਹਿ ਮਾਨ
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 ਸੁਣਿਆ ਲਾਗੈ ਸਹਜ ਧਿਆਨ ਸਹਜ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਲਾਗੈ ਸਹਜ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਭਗਤਾ ਸਦਾ ਵਿਗਾਸ
ਨਾਨਕ ਭਗਤਾ ਸਦਾ ਵਿਗਾਸ
ਨਾਨਕ ਭਗਤਾ ਸਦਾ ਵਿਗਾਸ
ਨਾਨਕ ਭਗਤਾ ਸਦਾ ਵਿਗਾਸ
ਸੁਣਿਆ ਦੁਖ ਪਾਪ ਕਾ ਨਾਸ
ਦੁਖ ਪਾਪ ਕਾ ਨਾਸ
ਸੁਣਿਆ ਦੁਖ दुख पाप का नास वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे वाहे गुरु वाहे वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहेगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह. So any questions ji from the Sangat? Yeah, Haji. It's there.
Thank you very much for your talk. Firstly, I just wanted to ask, you mentioned being content today. Is being content explicitly or mutually exclusive with happiness in that sense? Do they mean sort of the same thing in sort of your opinion as well? And I guess, sorry, my second question as well, in one of the vices, attachment was one of them. Does that mean we sort of have to detach from everything that we love as well in this world? Thank you.
Okay.
Two big ones, sorry.
That's fine if I can remember the questions. So question number one was, hold on.
Oh, that's the difference between being
Love,
content.
yeah, so...
Content and happiness,
sorry. So I'm not sure what it says in terms of Gurbani, but I would say that happiness would fall under content, feeling content, this feeling of contentment. Because if you are content with what you have, then you would be happy, right? You would be sort of full and you feel like what you have is enough. So that's what I would say for that. And the second question, bear with me. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Being attached to something or just having attachment was considered a vice.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, does that mean we have to detach from everything that we love and know in this world?
Okay, so in terms of love itself, so truly loving would be putting everything to aside, right? So putting yourself to one side and then loving and sort of providing that love to everything around you. So in terms of attachment, we do have to strive to become detached and not have that attachment So I do. It's a difficult one. Yeah.
WhyGuru. When it comes to attachment and when it comes to love, there's a very nice analogy to explain it. So if you look at you have like a babysitter, for example, right? So you bring a babysitter in, and she looks after the kids, and she loves the kids, right? Because she treats them as her own. But one day she knows she has to leave those kids. Does that make sense? But she still loves them regardless. But she has to move on. So this analogy given in lots of scriptures as well, that's how you distinguish between the two. So it doesn't mean she doesn't love them any less, but she realizes that actually I can't hold on to them. I'm going to have to move on. So when it comes to love and attachment, they are two separate things. You can love somebody and not be attached to them. You can see that in Itihas. Look at Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a 10th Guru. They loved their kids, but they weren't attached to their kids because they knew they had to let their kids go, because they said, Jiski bast tis aage rakhe prabh ki aagya manne mathe. They said to WhyGuru Ji that these things that I have, these items, they belong to you. They don't belong to me. So when it comes to the path of Sikhi, when it comes to this idea of attachment and detachment, what we're trying to do is detach ourselves from this world and attach ourselves to WhyGuru. And the word we use for that is called Vairag. So Vairag refers to the idea of detaching from the world and attaching to WhyGuru Ji. We turn our back to the world. It doesn't mean that we turn our back to our families and that, that's it, I'm never going to speak to you again. It's understanding that actually these people that I love, they're not going to stay with me. We have to all go back to our true love, which is WhyGuru Ji. It's almost that understanding of the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
Good. When it comes to the first question about santok and happiness, it's an interesting one, right? What is the difference between the two, right? I guess santok is the idea of fulfillment, to always be fulfilled in times of happiness and in times of dukh. So it's almost going above the two, right? That whatever happens, I'm content in my life. It's almost a spiritual state where life is gonna be like this, right? But someone who's santoki, someone who's content, is always like this.
Does contentment sort of fall under the category of being grateful in that sense?
100%, you could say that. Santok falls under the idea of having gratitude. Definitely, because if someone is very thankful, then every situation they feel like actually WhyGuru is always providing for me. Manpreet Singh and even Guru Singh did a great job of it. Guru Singh went a bit too far when he started talking about even your tap. Like, God, make sure the water is clean and stuff. Went a bit too far. Like 10 examples, we didn't give 2. But sorry, I always wince about that. Right? But I forgot the question. I was too busy cussing him. I forgot what your question was. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, just does it fall under the principle of being grateful?
Yeah, because then, like as with the Guru Singh example, Manpreet Singh, that even in those times where we feel like we've lost out, we realize actually look how much we do have. Like we have our eyes, we have our ears, we have all these simple things that we take for granted. So gratitude is definitely a tool that we can use in order to gain santok. So they come very close together. Tika ji?
Thank you.
Seva's got his hand up. Can you just pass the mic forward to Seva Singh? Please be nice, Seva Singh.
Hello.
People want to go to bed. You say hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
Like contentment, like there's some things that like we can't really be content with everything. Like, how Amritpal Singh, he got like jailed for no reason. We shouldn't just be like content with that. Like, you like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's kind of like we can't really be content with everything, otherwise we'd just be bullied, basically.
That's a very good question, and a very chuck the span that works and try and confuse a bundle so much. What Viji is trying to say, if I'm understanding, is that being content, it doesn't mean you become passive, right? In situations that okay, then this has happened to me, I'm content. It doesn't mean that. Right? So of course when it's time to take action, then you have to take action, right? But whatever happens as the result, we're content with the result. Does that make sense? So if I try my best and I don't achieve what I want to achieve, then I'm content in the result because that was in WhyGuru Ji's hukam. Whether I was successful in my task to maybe carry out this morcha, this protest, whatever happens at the end of it, that was in WhyGuruji's hands. So it doesn't mean you become passive, you're still active, but at the end of it, whatever the result is, we're content that WhyGuruji is the one who has given this outcome. Does that make sense? Yeah, he said yeah, if no one heard that, right? So being content doesn't mean that you're passive. Two different things. Just like we say, Sikhadam maniniva mat uchi. We are humble, but we're not pushovers. Big difference, right? The Guru Gobind is the most humble person you'll meet. But at the same time, you don't want to mess with them. Otherwise, they fire arrow for you. Right? In that respect, like in the battlefield, not in general. But get the part with that, you mean Sant Sapai, saint soldier. Right? Both aspects. Anyone else? People want to go home, go to bed. T? Oh, don't we sing? Go on, Khalsa ji.
WhyGuru Khalsa, WhyGuru Fateh. Just adding on what Seva Singh's question. So they were sharing in one of the WhatsApp groups were in a picture of Santaji and a quote Sant Janel Singh Ji Khalsa Pindrawale that have a mala in your left hand and have a Siddhi Sahib or your Shastar in your right hand. And when someone comes for your mala, then you draw your Siddhi Sahib. So the Santa Sabai point that, you know, when people attack us, we don't just take it, but being Santok, like Sukhdeep Singh said, that's in having Santok and Maharaj's hukum and being able to accept that. But again, it doesn't mean that we're pushovers and we have to be tiyar bar tiyar.
Thank you. And like earlier in the Katha, I had so many lines memorized. I never used any of them. None because I got me too excited when I was talking. Right? And there's a line that goes with that, comes in Guru Gobind Singh, he says it in Surya Prakash, it's written. It says, Shastar ke adeen hai Raj. That those that don't carry Shastar and they're not armed, then people are always going to rule over them. Jo na tar hai, this is bigger Kaj. The ones that don't carry Shastar, nothing will go right in their life because they always have those people on top of them, ruling over them, and they'll always be under this unjust rule. So that's why Guru Sahib Ji gave us Shastar. They said, arm yourself because the good people should have Shastar. The good people should be protecting themselves, protecting everybody else's honor. Otherwise, you leave it to the bad people. Look what we're in right now. Look at the situation we're in the whole world. Theek hai. Chalo, I think we should finish off there. It's getting really late. It's 8:45. People just, okay. I was going to, should we do few minutes of Simran or do you want to do Samapti? It's up to you guys. Hands up for Simran. Hands up for Samapti. Wow, kya baat hai. Okay, who's doing it? Who's volunteering themselves? Memma, is it you? Memma Korweshi? Oh yeah, go on. You're on the list, right? Just 5 minutes we'll do Samapti. Theek hai ji, Sangat at the back will put their hands up, so we have to. And then we'll do straight Ardas, one Ardas for Hukunam Sahib Maharaj go to Sachkhand, and they take Guru Sahib to Sachkhand. So just a few minutes, even just 2-3 minutes of Simran, we'll do Samapti. WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh.
Satnam ji, WhyGuru, WhyGuru, WhyGuru ji. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam ji. Sat Guru Pani Pita